Welcome to my unit plan presentation for my Intermediate English ABQ course. This unit is based on my grade 9 academic English classroom. My unit is based on the novel called The Hunger Games by author Suzanne Collins. In this novel, the nation of Panem is formed by post-apocalyptic North America, and it consists of a wealthy capital region surrounded by 12 poor districts. The capital has created a televised event called the Hunger Games as a punishment and a reminder of the power of the capital. Each district must bring one boy and one girl between the ages of 12 and 18 through a lottery system to participate in the games. The tributes are chosen during the annual reaping and are forced to fight to the death, leaving only one survivor to claim victory. This novel is a very engaging novel for our grade 9 students, and it's a novel that I think they'll very much enjoy. The essential questions that guide my unit are quite relevant to our current society, which I'm hoping will promote connections to self as well as stimulate student inferences. This unit will touch on topics which my students can relate to, like media influences, rules of society, and social justice issues. Many of the activities that will accompany this unit will be technology-based, and I believe my students will become invested in the projects while sharing their own experiences and perspectives. The goal for this unit is to elicit engaging discussions that address issues my students have experienced or will experience in the future. I believe the dystopian topic will also address morality and allow me to incorporate the Catholic virtues into my lessons. This unit will take place over 11 17-minute periods, taking up about 2 and a bit weeks to finish our unit. My unit has been created through a backwards design approach, and my essential questions are: what ideals, community, freedom, and justice, are oppressed in a dystopian society? How does the media in a dystopian society negatively manipulate citizens? And how does the protagonist follow a hero's journey despite challenges created by a dystopian ruler? The Hunger Games unit will focus on curriculum expectations from oral communication, reading, writing, and media literacy. Under oral communication, students will identify and use several different active listening strategies when participating in a variety of classroom interactions. They will identify the important information and ideas in both simple and complex oral texts in several different ways. They will extend understanding of both simple and complex oral texts by making connections between the ideas in them and personal knowledge, experience, insights, and other things in the world around them. Lastly, they will identify the perspectives evident in both simple and complex texts and comment on any questions that they may raise about beliefs, values, and identity. For reading, they will read student and teacher-selected texts from diverse cultures and historical periods, identifying specific purposes for reading. They will also make inferences and explain both simple and complex texts, supporting their explanations from ideas from the text. Lastly, they will extend their understanding of both simple and complex texts by making connections between the ideas in them and personal knowledge, experience, and insights. Under writing, students will identify the topic, purpose, and audience for several different types of writing. They will also establish and identify a voice in their writing, modifying language to suit the tone and form, audience, and purpose for writing. Lastly, they will explain how their own beliefs, values, and experiences are revealed in their writing. Under media literacy expectations, students will explain how media texts are created to suit particular purposes and audiences. They will also interpret messages from the media, identifying and explaining implied messages they convey. They will also explain how different production, marketing, and distribution factors influence the media's industry. And lastly, they will describe the purpose, topic, and audience for media texts they plan to create. On day 1, to kick off the unit, students will do the grab bag activity, where they will be given a sack of props, and they'll have to determine what each of these props could mean for the book. Some examples of the props would be resources from each district, an arrow, a mockingjay pin, just to name a few. Each day, students will have the opportunity to read the novel in class, whether it be independent reading, choral reading, or read-alouds. Every night, there will be chapter reading assigned for homework. The next class, we will check for understanding by assigning chapter questions for bell work. We will also have a class discussion about the topics that were portrayed in that chapter. Some exciting assignments that we will be covering will be 1, a class debate, which will focus around the question, What society would you prefer to live in? Panem under President Snow's rule, or Germany under Hitler's Nazi regime? Consider the freedoms and justices that are oppressed. Students will also create a Powtoon project where they will take on the role of Haymitch and create a tribute commercial for their favorite tribute. The students will have to consider all audiences, the government, and the citizens from the district because they're all going to see the same commercial. For their culminating assignment, students will create their own board game called A Hero's Journey. This project will be based off the essential question, how does the protagonist follow a hero's journey despite challenges created by the dystopian ruler? The purpose of this board game will be for students to create a path to become a hero. They must also consider the barriers that the capital might put in their way. The evaluation strategies that I will use will be done through assessment for learning. Some tools will be group discussions, debates, peer and self-assessments, group work, anecdotal notes, rubrics, and success criteria. I will assess my students through quizzes, chapter questions, technology projects, journals, class presentations, and the culminating assignment. I will be sure to provide accommodations and modifications for students who require them. I want all of my students to have a chance for success, and here are some ways that I will help them achieve this. First, I will help them explain technical language. I will try to eliminate or at least minimize auditory and visual classroom distractions, such as noise in the hallway. I will give my students extra time if they require it and have it noted on their IEP. For those students who require assistance with reading, I will use proximity, and when it is their turn to participate in choral reading, I will be near them to help them with difficult words without the entire class overhearing. Also, I will provide those students who have IEPs with a hard copy of brief chapter summaries. During my unit, I will be sure to consider the cultural literacy of my classroom. I will encourage my students to share their own connections and experiences to the text. I'll also provide background knowledge for students who require it. Overall, I hope this Hunger Games unit is an engaging, interactive learning experience for all of my students. I very much look forward to the day where I can put this unit to practice with my own class. Thank you for taking the time to learn about my unit.